When we started making This Time Next Year, I think we both thought we were going to be making a very different kind of film. We had been really interested in questions of local politics and governance, but then as soon as we got down there and actually started meeting the people, it changed to this idea of resilience.
If you asked me that before the storm, I don't think I would know what resilience was. To me, and I think a lot of the people I was connected with, it was just coming together and getting it done, not waiting for help, going out and being the help that we needed for ourselves and we needed for other people. We learned how to be resilient. And I guess we were resilient all along, we just didn't know, and this was our test. One thing I liked about this film was that they really got inside of the people and saw what we went through. I didn't think there was an agenda behind it trying to push you into a certain belief or direction. I thought they just kind of let the actions speak for themselves.
And the idea that we could go to this New Jersey Shore community and sort of collect all these different feelings, all these different questions, all these different emotions around living near the beach, around natural disasters, around climate change and resilience, put it together in a film and present it to people around the country and have them ask those same questions about their communities. That's a really powerful thing that docs can do. And that's different than saying, you know, this is how you should vote, this is how you should think, this is what you need to know about this issue.
What's the human element of this conversation? And that's what we like to do, to just kind of strip it down and say, first, really look at this. Look at what's going on. Think about what it's like to live in this community, and I think then you're in a better position to act. This felt big from the get-go, that even though we were still finishing the film, we were still editing, as that was going on, so was this campaign thinking about how can other people benefit from this situation in the film.
You know, I'd never seen a funder get so involved in a film in such a big way.
We're part of this path with a lot of other organizations and kind of a bigger question about how we live now.
Even though the film takes a very kind of almost hyper-local look at the issues of climate change and community resilience, what we see has large implications for policy, even at the federal level. And so when we screened the movie in Washington, D.C., there were folks there from FEMA.
It was different from the other Q&As we had done because I guess it was a DC crowd, so they were really interested in the federal government's response and things like that. And I told them how I felt.
It actually created a really nice dialogue between somebody like Joe Mangino and actual folks in the audience who work in DC. It forced them to take a look at their agency and the things that their agency could do better. All of the screenings with the groups working on resilience and first responders post-disaster, you know, that stuff, it felt so much more immediate than a lot of what you get at the end of more traditional activist-type documentary films. We showed the film and inspired people who will be ready and right after the next disaster and learned from the experience of the people on Long Beach Island, which they wouldn't have had a chance to see otherwise.
That's a proactive approach to the next disaster. Now people know, hey, let's do this, let's get ready in case it happens. So yeah, I definitely like that it wasn't just a film, but there were other things surrounding it, and it's great to be a part of that.
Showing the film to the Long Beach Island community the first time, we had a sold out 400-seat theater or something, and every single person there was either in the film or knew someone who was in the film. It was this big family in a way.
It was kind of surreal. It was really neat to be, because that whole weekend I would bump into people that were there, and it was like, we love the film, we love this, we love what you did, we love the way everything came out, and it felt good, because it was kind of an acknowledgement of all the work that we did, and having so many people see it and realize the impact we made on our community. It's great.
People said things like, I'm now able to process the storm in a way that I couldn't before, seeing the year unfold in that way, being able to take a step back and seeing it on film, it was really healing. And, I've never experienced that kind of response before.
In a very personal sense, just the idea that some folks that we've met and spent a lot of time with are really touched by this thing that we made, thanks to Tribeca and Rockefeller, that's as filmmakers, that's really meaningful.
From the entire crew of This Time Next Year, we just really want to thank the Rockefeller Foundation for believing in this film, for understanding what it would mean to make people think about the human side of climate change and disaster relief.